Hi, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Current blood sugar is 7.4. I have 1 day of calibration left. Well, that actually lies a bit. If we touch the number 1, it comes in and says sensor life is 10 hours. We're going to change that before 10 hours are up. Fully calibrated with the new sensor 4 I'm in. I'm always calibrated, which I never thought was going to be such a relief. It almost comes back to the old days where you didn't have to do a blood test every 5 minutes. But, oh well. I have 6.25 units of insulin. Last night was a pretty stable night. I slept through and I woke up nice and early, but I felt rested, which is a good plus. Time and range, while it's not 100, I can definitely guarantee we're sitting at 99%, which meant 1% of the time I was above 10%. 99% of I was in range. That means I was between 3.9 and 10, 99% of the time. So that's 23 hours and 45 minutes. I was within range. This is where your body works the best. You're going to start feeling better. Now, if you're not hitting 99 or 100, that's fine. This is the optimum, and I'm lucky enough I'm able to reach it. As long as your number is over 70% of the time, that is what they're actually looking for. And you really need to keep track of this and see what do I need to do to increase it. Average sugars in millimoles was 7.3. So all in all, a pretty damn good day yesterday. So, yeah, heads up. Today, I want to talk to you about complication versus Ogilvie syndrome. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. This channel is provided for informational purposes only. Contact your physician for any diagnostic or treatment plan. When people think of complications, they think of the two big ones: loss of leg, eyes, and heart. Those are maybe the big three. But there are an awful lot of other complications that play a part in your control. For me, there was a new one that kind of came knocking at the door that I've had for a while, but was never quite diagnosed. And they came through with the diagnosis of Ogilvie syndrome. Ogilvie syndrome is kind of like a pseudo blockage. There's no real blockage there, but your gut seems to react that way. Got it. So it's a nerve related. And where have we heard nerves being related before? Diabetic neuropathy. So all these things play a role. We talk about control, and I think I probably wouldn't have diabetic neuropathy to the extent that I need to be in a chair. I could have got exercise for longer if, as a young adult, I took care of my diabetes. I wasn't taking care of my diabetes. I want to give the outside world saying, yeah, I controlled my diabetes. I would get up, I would go to work, but I wasn't under control. And hence, that's why I was in and out of the hospital. I would be playing with blood sugars. My blood sugars were going like this. Could it been partially me and my actions? It could also be partially my labile diabetes. And with labile diabetes, you don't really have control over your blood sugars. I'm lucky enough to have, there it is, couldn't find to have my pump. So, to the young people, if there's any watching us, keep your blood sugars in control for you. You're going to feel better. You're not going to end up having to live with complications. It's really hard for someone who's been through it and who know the outcomes of these complications to sit down with a new diabetic and say, you know what? You really have to do it. If you don't, you're going to lose an eye. You're going to lose your legs. That's not going to help, because I was that diabetic. I heard that story so often. But did I really listen? No. Now, I don't think me being in control really set me on the path to complications, but I think it was partially it. Partially my blood sugars and myself being a brittle diabetic or labile diabetic helped. The best thing any new diabetic or young diabetic can do is to try to keep blood sugars in line. Otherwise, you could end up with Ogilvie syndrome. And I believe my doctor here in the facility kind of really stepped on and said years of way out blood sugars have really played emphasis on my gut. So, you know, a lot of people seem to think, oh, well, I won't get it. I'm going to be so damn careful. I can play around. I can do this. Now, when you have to live with a complication. So, Ogilvie syndrome is a complication. It's nothing. Complications are this, and you have Ogilvie syndrome. I'm not going to play blinders and say, oh, is it Ogilvie syndrome isn't a complication because of this and that. It is a complication. And you need to make sure that you keep your blood sugars within control. That's basically the whole thing about diabetes, is trying to keep your blood sugars in control. A lot of people do quite well, and then there's others who have trouble with nothing to do on their own, but keeps having to work at it and nothing goes right. That was my life. I think I opened the door a bit to complications with not controlling blood sugars as a young man. My whole life was work. I don't think that was great. No one really sits there and says, gee, I wish I could have spent more time working. You have to get up and you have to do it. You have to start taking control of your blood sugars. You need to ask for help. Ogilvie syndrome sucks. Any sort of complication sucks. There is no difference between one complication versus another. They all stem from control. Whether you do your own control, which is super. If you're able to do it, awesome. If you're labile like myself, it can be a little bit more challenging. And that's where you may need help from your endocrinologist, your diabetes educator, and where they are able to take snapshots. With technology now, anyone that I give password to can take a look at my blood sugar and see how I'm doing. They can get reports on what my blood sugars are doing, and they can help me come up with a game plan that keeps me in line most of the time. You're still going to have times where you're out left field. Nah, that would never happen now, would it? Every diabetic goes through that. It's how you respond to it and taking care of your body. Your blood sugars are part of the whole working system. Keeping your blood sugars in a tight control will help you live a long and exciting life. From experience, I know. I try to do it every day now. A lot of times I have success like today. %, but I also have days of 63. So there's no difference between any complication and Ogilvie syndrome. They're all still complications, and they all still affect organs of our body. The best control is to keep yourself in control. And that's between 3.9 and 10. Speak to your doctor and come up with a plan. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye now. My next vlog topic will be Hey, it's Mike. Just to let you know, tomorrow's video, we're going to be talking about Control Day. Making sure all your plans are in effect. Have a great day, and we'll talk again soon. Tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Have a super day. See you soon. Bye now. My email is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com.